Just this Friday, a new mod was released for BeamNG, which adds pedestrians to the towns and cities in-game. And not just crash test dummies or unharmed cylinders, but rather animated, walking, reactive pedestrians in BeamNG. Let's take a look at the mod together. Alright, so I have loaded into East Coast USA, and the town looks pretty dead. Though, this is a fairly normal sight if you have been playing BeamNG for a long time, as this is just how the maps kind of are. But, let me load up some traffic, parked cars, and pedestrians to see just how all of that transforms the town. And just like that, we have people in BeamNG. Not snowmen, not cylinders, and not beamlings, but rather human models with 2 arms and 2 legs. The town now actually has a use for the sidewalks, other than for just free parking space. And with everything together like this, it does look pretty cool. It really fills out the environment and makes the town seem like some place where people actually live and not just a ghost town. Though, this does highlight just how careless the BeamNG traffic tends to drive. But that did give me an idea. Do the advanced collision avoidance systems on a Hirochi CCF avoid the pedestrians? To make sure this car does have the ACAS installed, let's do a control test by trying to crash into a car. And as you can see, the ACAS did avoid a collision. So, let's try this on a pedestrian. Alright, so it's about the same as Tesla Autopilot, but maybe that was a fluke. And it's the same result. So, the CCF's ACAS does not avoid pedestrians, yet. Again, this mod is brand new, so I would not be surprised to see some compatibility between the two mods in the future. Anyways, on the topic of avoiding collisions, you will notice that if you do try to collide with a pedestrian, you can't. This is because, just like in Driver 1, Driver 2, and Driver 3. Just like in Driver San Francisco, the pedestrians dodge the vehicle with incredible spatial awareness. Though unlike the driver games, the pedestrians do not emit sounds when they evade your vehicle. In fact, the pedestrians in this mod do not make any sounds at all. Looking more into the details, we can see that their walk animation appears to have a slight stutter in the loop, and the people tend to be very sudden about changing direction. There are also some locations where they hover or sink above the ground slightly, though this is actually a fairly common thing for older games. Another thing is that unlike the driver games mentioned earlier, the pedestrians currently do not sit on benches or chairs. Though all of these things are pretty acceptable for what is a brand new mod. According to the mod author, he does plan to improve the mod quite a bit, both in terms of visuals and functionality. And speaking of the mod author, I did reach out to him on Discord, though, as of recording, he had yet to respond. You may have noticed that up until now, I have only been in East Coast so far. This is because that, as of recording, East Coast is the only map that this mod works on for free. There is a West Coast expansion, however, that is locked behind a paywall. That being said, I wanted to show you guys everything that I can about this mod, so I paid for the West Coast expansion to show it to you guys today. This is the first time I have ever spent money on a BeamNG mod, and I am doing it to make this video as thorough as I can. So, if you guys could help out the channel by liking this video and subscribing, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you in advance. Moving on to West Coast, we can see that there are people here too, and just like in East Coast, this helps so much with making the city feel genuinely alive. However, I have found that even with the settings maxed out, there's not quite as many people in some areas as I would expect. Another thing that I have noticed is there are quite a few locations where I would expect people to be, yet no pedestrians spawn or walk there. Now there are some places and walkways which are pathed like you would expect, just not every single place is. Again, it is important to note that this mod is brand new, so it will have its flaws. But whether or not you feel like this map add-on in its current form is worth the $5.50 Canadian that it costs, will be up for you to decide. Moving on to how you can get the mod to work. First, you have to download it. And as of recording, the only way to obtain this mod is from Moses's Patreon. And now is probably a good time to remind people to take caution when downloading mods from external websites. Not that anything was wrong with this mod in particular, I just figured I should take the opportunity to remind people to be vigilant when downloading mods outside of the BeamNG forums. Anyways, you will have to download both the base mod as well as the East Coast add-on. Once you have put the two files into your mods folder like any other mod, you should just be able to load into East Coast and see both Pedestrians as well as this new Pedestrian UI tool. If you don't see the tool, or you accidentally press the X button so that it dies and doesn't come back, you will have to add the Pedestrian UI app to your screen. Now, using a UI app to bring up another UI tool seems a little goofy to me, but once you have this tool up, you will be able to see all of these controls. Here, you can toggle pedestrians on and off, change the population density and amount, and also increase the spawn distance. If the pedestrians bug out, you can respawn them or even reload the map data. But apart from that, there's not a huge amount involved into getting this mod working in your game. Since this mod is, again, pretty brand new, and especially because part of it is paid, I would like to bring up some of my own thoughts and feedback here if I can. I do think the mod's premise is quite neat. It seems like such a small detail, but it makes the maps feel so much more alive, and I really like seeing that. However, I do feel like these early implementations are more so a proof of concept than a fully fleshed out mod. Do you see what I did? I do also think that there are quite a few areas in both maps which lack pedestrian spawns, and I also think that the current models used look a little bit pale. Another thing is, while Moses says the pedestrians are optimized, I was running into some performance issues on my 3950X with all of the sliders maxed out, possibly due to the game loading everyone onto a single thread, even in Vulkan. It will be cool to see the additional pedestrian models and animations as planned, so I am looking forward to that. It would also be cool to see people sitting down, doing tasks, and maybe even spawning inside of buildings. But as for now, we can only wait and see where the mod goes. So, that was just a quick overview of this new pedestrian mod for BeamNG. It may just be starting out as a proof of concept, but I still think it is pretty cool, and I'm quite curious to see where it goes. Are you guys planning on checking out the mod now that you have seen it here? Have you already taken a look? Or are you waiting for future updates before doing so? Let me know in the comments below. Until those updates arrive, I feel like I've talked about everything I can with this mod. So, thank you guys for watching. This has been Akimbo, and I'm signing off. Sir, stop running away from me. Stop resisting. Sir, come here, sir. I will tase you. Sir, get out. Stop running away. Sir, I'm gonna pull out the taser. Sir, come here. I'm gonna get you.